Hello everyone, I am Tara Tojo Alex. I would like to express my thoughts on the tragic death of a pregnant wild elephant in Kerala's Palakkad district last month that triggered a nationwide uproar. Animal rights activists, celebrities, politicians and other citizens have raised their concern over the treatment meted out to animals in the state of Kerala. The pregnant elephant died in the Palakkad district after she reportedly consumed a fruit that was stuffed with firecrackers. The resulting blast injured her mouth so grievously that she could not eat thereafter. To relieve her pain and burning sensation and agony, she entered a river and stood in the water with her mouth open, but unfortunately she succumbed to her injuries after a very long and painful struggle. Since then, the tragedy has hogged national headlines and social media has seen an outpour of grief and anger. But this buzz has also fueled a misinformation, or rather a disinformation campaign that propels communal politics. Initially, several media reports said that the elephant died in Kerala's Malappuram district. However, this wrong information was corrected when the state's forest department clarified that the death took place in the neighbouring Palakkad district. Kerala's chief wildlife warden, Surendra Kumar, said that the incident took place in the Mannarkad division in Palakkad district. The elephant died on May 27th, and on May 28th they registered a case and the probe was underway. While the initial media reports did get the districts wrong, but before they eventually corrected it, there appears to be a concerted political effort to link the elephant's death to Malappuram, a Muslim majority district in Kerala, and give this incident a communal tone. There were seriously absurd statements like the elephant is a pious and holy animal of the Hindus and it was intentionally bombed by the Muslims in Malappuram, etc. The senior BJP leader and the former Union Minister Maneka Gandhi, in an interview to news agency ANI, said that Malappuram is the worst and the most violent district in India. She alleged that women and animals are routinely killed in the district and that this is a hub of communal conflicts. Quoting her own words, she says that, look at the crime rate in Malappuram. Communal conflicts are highest there. Malappuram is perhaps the most disturbed district in the country. Every day there is some incident or the other there. They've killed so many women and they create Hindu-Muslim tensions, chop off people's arms. The situation in Malappuram is very scary. It seems as if Kerala government is scared of Malappuram because it does not take any action. The weakest people in the administration are sent to Malappuram. This is her own words, Maneka Gandhi's words. She adds that Malappuram is known for its intense criminal activity, especially in the areas regards to animals. No action has ever been taken against a single poacher or wildlife killer, and so they keep doing it. Unquote. Another senior BJP leader joined the disinformation campaign and linked the elephant's death again to Malappuram. Union Environment and Forest Wildlife Minister Prakash Javadekar tweeted, his tweet goes like this: Central government has taken very serious note of the killing of the elephant in Malappuram district of Kerala. The social media is flooded with posts and comments that seek to fuel this communal narrative triggered following the poor elephant's death. From being a case of cruelty against animals, the incident has ballooned into a Hindu-Muslim issue with people of Malappuram being demonized. However, the facts speak differently. A district-wide analysis of the latest report of the National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, titled The Crime in India 2018, prepared by the Union Home Ministry, militates against Maneka's claims. Contrary to her assertion that Malappuram is India's most disturbed district, the analysis of the NCRB data shows that the district does not feature even among the top 300 districts for crimes like murder or attempt to murder or dowry-related death or theft or attempt to rape, extortion, abduction or even kidnapping. Anyway, now a case has been filed against Maneka Gandhi in Malappuram. According to inputs, the case filed against her has been registered under section 153 of the Indian Penal Code, which corresponds to punishment for promoting enmity between different groups on the grounds of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc., and doing acts prejudicial to the maintenance of harmony. The case was registered reportedly after Malappuram police received more than 7 complaints against Maneka Gandhi in this regard. Now let's talk a little bit about Malappuram. I've been to Malappuram district twice. I'm from Ernakulam. I live in Canada. The first time I went there was when I did a solitary drive from Ernakulam to Wayanad. I took a foodie break in Malappuram. The second time was when I returned to Canada last year. I took my flight from Karipur airport, which is also in Malappuram. I have a lot of friends from Malappuram, and I believe they are people who love unconditionally, irrespective of caste, creed, or even religion. They are prudent to accept the good and reject the evil. This, I believe, is the manifesto of Malappuram. People who have studied the history of Indian independence cannot overlook the mighty contribution of the great freedom fighters who originated from Malappuram. We cannot overlook places like Tirur and Tirurangadi that speaks in volumes of the mighty resistance shown against the British rule. Mamburam Saidalavi Thangal, who was exiled due to his fight for justice against the British, and he also extended stiff resistance against the caste system and Dalit oppression. Welingod Umar Khasi, who launched the tax defamation movement against the British, even 100 years before Mahatma Gandhiji. Varim Kunnatta Kunyahamad Haji, Ali Musliar. How can any patriot forget the traumatized fighters who breathed their last in the death wagon sent from Tirur to Bellary Central Prison? The soil of Malappuram is a center of secular culture since centuries. During the 1921 riots, the British captured all the Muslim men and orphaned their Muslim families. It was then Sri T.S. Warrior from Kottakil who provided shelter and protection to all those Muslim families. He is an excellent example of the great secular tradition of Malappuram. Tunjatha Ramanujan Elthachan, Moinkutti Vaidyar, Poondanam, Vallathol, Melpattur Narayana Bhattadiri, Achyuta Pisharadi, Kutti Krishna Marar, V.C. Balakrishna Panikar, Idasheri, Uru, Cherukad, Govinda Pisharadi, K.K. Damodaran, Kuttipurathu Keshavan Nair, P.V. Krishna Warrior, Pulikotal Haidar, Moidu Maulavi, Saeed Abdur Rahman Bafaki Tangal, Panakkad Saeed Muhammad Ali Shihab Tangal, E.M.S. Namboodiripad, the first Chief Minister of Kerala. Malappuram is thus the birthplace of many of these great leaders and many more. There's a saying that in Malappuram, hearing the Mosque calling out for the Maghrib prayers, the Hindus would light their lamps. Once, when the gate of a temple was burned down by few evil men to incite religious riots, it was the Muslims who rushed to rebuild those gates for their Hindu brothers. It is a land of religious harmony and a place where people uphold humanity and brotherhood above everything else. It is this Malappuram that the North Indian BJP and Sanghaparivar and the Kerala BJP and Sanghaparivar once again falsely accused to be the site of terrorist and animal killings. Do you know how ridiculous this Sanghaparivar's love for animals sound? There are so many cases just in Kerala where Sanghaparivar members were arrested for throwing body parts and remains of animals inside or near the temples with the motive to unleash communal riots. Across India, how many poor people have been beaten to death, inciting that they killed cows? Pehlu Khan, Rakbhar Khan, Muhammad Akhlaq, and so many others were humiliated and brutally killed in the name of cows. Now, India is one of the largest exporters of beef in the world. Who are the top exporters of beef in India? Al-Kabir exporters. And who are the owners? Mr. Satish and Mr. Atul Sabrawal. Secondly, Arabian Exports Private Limited, and the owner is Mr. Sunil Kapoor. Third, MKR Frozen Food Exports, and the owner is Mr. Madan Abbott. Fourth, PML Industries Private Limited, and who is the owner? Mr. A.S. Bindra. So many of these largest beef suppliers in India are Hindu businessmen, and there is nothing wrong with it. Now coming back to the elephant death issue in Kerala. I see that the Indian cricket captain Virat Kohli, Harbhajan Singh, Bollywood stars like Akshay Kumar, Anushka Sharma, Alia Bhatt, Randeep Hooda, and hundreds of celebrities have condemned the issue, blaming this incident on Kerala. I would love to ask this. Since Corona lockdown began on March 24, 2020, we've seen millions of migrants walk thousands of kilometers in a frenzy to reach their homes in their villages. Every day we see defining images of India's migrant workers with bags perched on their heads and children in their arms, walking down highways in a desperate attempt to return to their villages hundreds of miles away, hungry and thirsty. We have seen them eat dead animals, dead dogs and other creatures on their way. We have seen our fellow humans die on the roads and railway platforms. Then, where were these BJP mourners and so-called celebrities? We saw heart-wrenching images of a child who was seen trying to wake up his dead mother as she lies in a platform in Muzaffarpur station. She died of hunger and heat and dehydration. Where were these people then? Did they raise a tiny finger against this? Where were these people when 16 migrant labourers were crushed to death by a goods train in Maharashtra after they fell asleep on the tracks? Why were they silent? Where were they when people are still being killed in the daylight based on caste and creed and religion and dress in India? The country's most important problems like the GDP fail, the industrial collapse, corruption, illiteracy, education system fail, basic sanitation, healthcare system, poverty, pollution, women's safety. Have they all protested on any of these issues? Pregnant Jamia Millia student Safura Sarkar denied bail for the third time. As Safura Sarkar's bail hearing failed, she completes 5 months of pregnancy. Safura's pregnancies does make her more vulnerable to COVID-19 and raises questions on the state's apathy in putting her and her child's life at risk. This is the reality of Narendra Modi's BJP government arbitrarily silencing dissenting voices through repressive laws such as the UAPA. More often than not, Muslims are at the receiving end of the BJP government's wrath. But the media and these celebrities, they do not raise a finger. Millions of Indian expatriates are struggling to come back to India from various countries. This includes old people, pregnant women, children, workers, labourers. Did they ever speak a single sentence on their behalf? No. These guys will never do that because they are blind, mute and deaf to all these issues. Shame on these people. At a time when even a pandemic like COVID-19 is shown by the BJP government and Sanghaparivar from the prism of religion, it's hardly surprising that even the tragic death of a pregnant elephant in Kerala has been given a communal colour. But what I would like to tell the Sanghaparivar and their celebrity bandwagon is this. Please don't think that this communal card will go a long way on this Indian soil. As long as there are democratic secular citizens, India will unite irrespective of caste, colour, creed, religion and any other differences. The truth will prevail. We will resist Sanghaparivar and we will block their terrorism and fascism by upholding our democracy and secularism. We extend our love and solidarity to Malappuram. We love you guys. Jai Hind.